The life of Wade Wilson was currently a masterclass in hitting rock bottom and finding a hidden basement underneath. It began in his cramped, poorly ventilated apartment. His landlord, Mr. Schultz, was currently attempting to bypass the deadbolt with a pair of heavy-duty bolt cutters. Mr. Schultz was a chubby Asian man with a magnificent, flowing mane of bone-white hair that reached his waist, making him look like a legendary kung fu master who had retired from the mountains to focus on property management and aggressive debt collection. "Wilson, open door! You owe 3 months! My hair is turning whiter because of your lies!" Schultz roared, his voice trembling with the righteous fury of a man who just wanted his $800. Wade swung the door open, wearing his red mask and a pair of fuzzy slippers shaped like narwhals. "Schultzy, my man, is that a new silk-based conditioner? You're looking very ancient one today. Seriously, if a kid in a cape shows up asking for a quest, give him a map and a cryptic riddle." "No riddles, only cash," Schultz snapped, shoving a cardboard box into Wade's chest. "And who is that pale guy in kitchen? He tried to put rusty hooks in my ceiling. He talk about suffering being the ultimate nectar. This is a family building, Wade. No nectar torture allowed." Wade looked back at his roommate, Elliot, a man who wore leather straps as a primary fashion choice and had spent the morning trying to open a geometric puzzle box while muttering about tearing souls apart. "He's just a DIY enthusiast, Schultzy. He's into open concept living. Literally, he wants to open a concept into another dimension." 10 minutes later, Wade was sitting on the curb. Mr. Schultz slammed the apartment building door so hard that a single, majestic white hair fluttered through the air like a fallen cherry blossom. Wade was officially homeless, penniless, and his only friend was a silent man in a gimp suit who was currently being hauled away by a puzzled animal control officer. Wandering the rain-slicked streets of the city at night, Deadpool felt a heavy existential gloom. He was halfway through a monologue about the tragedy of the human condition when he saw a shadowy figure snatch a purse from an elderly woman and sprint toward a dark alleyway. "Finally, a distraction from my looming bankruptcy." Deadpool vaulted over a trash can and gave chase. He cornered the mugger in a cul-de-sac. With a series of theatrical flips and a very unnecessary spinning kick that knocked the man's hat into a puddle, Wade recovered the bag. He walked back to the street and handed it to the woman. She muttered a quick "thank you, dear," and vanished into the night. Left alone in the silence, Wade slumped down on a crate. No reward? Not even a Werther's original? The hero business is a scam. Just then, a sharp gust of wind whipped a piece of paper off a nearby telephone pole and slapped it directly onto his face. He peeled it off, squinting in the dim streetlight. It was an ad for Gigglefitz's Mega Toy Emporium. They needed a night guard and cleaner. It paid well, and more importantly, it came with a secure living space in the back of the store. "It's a miracle," Wade cheered, kissing the paper. "A roof over my head and all the plastic lightsabers I can eat." He missed the tiny crimson-red warning at the very bottom. Gigglefitz Inc. accepts no responsibility for employees who are hunted, cursed, or used as vessels for ancient serial killer souls.
The next morning, Wade walked into the store's corporate office. In the waiting room, a man in a tattered security uniform sprinted out of the manager's office screaming, "It has teeth! The plastic has teeth!" and dove through a plate glass window. Wade checked his watch. Ooh, early dismissal. Good sign. He walked into the office of Mr. Henderson, the HR manager. Henderson looked like a man who hadn't slept since the mid-90s. His hands shook so violently he was accidentally stabbing his desk with a ballpoint pen. "Mr. Wilson?" Henderson stammered. "I need to check your references. Professional ones." "Say no more." Wade pulled out a burner phone and hit speaker. "First up, my former supervisor at the X Mansion. A real stiff guy. Loves metal." A deep, metallic Russian voice boomed through the phone. "Wade is a man of great persistence. Please give him the job so he stops texting me pictures of his healing toenails." "Thanks, Colossus. Next, my landlord. Well, my old landlord, Mr. Schultz." Wade dialed the number. Schultz picked up instantly. Wilson, if you come back, I call police. You and Hookman go away. You pay rent, then we talk. But yes, he work hard when he not being idiot. See? Glowing review, Wade whispered. And one more, my buddy Logan. He hit the last contact. A man answered with a low growl. If this is Wilson, I'm gonna find you and bury you in a hole. Don't hire him. He's a walking migraine. Henderson looked at the empty security guard chair. He was desperate. He immediately shook Wade's hand. You're hired. Midnight. Don't touch the good guy dolls, especially the one with the 70s haircut.
The heavy steel doors of the Emporium locked with a final ominous clack. Wade stood in the center of aisle 9, the retro section. The moonlight filtered through the skylight, casting long, twisted shadows across rows of unblinking dolls. Okay, Wade, keep it professional. No playing with the merchandise, he muttered, immediately picking up a plastic shield and posing in a mirror. He eventually spotted it. A good guy doll sitting on a display of toy trucks. It had wild orange hair and a grin that looked like it had been carved with a steak knife. Wade jogged over, tilting his head. Well, hey there, little fella. You're a long way from the 80s discount bin, Deadpool said, leaning in close. You look like a My Buddy doll that got rejected for looking too much like a miniature serial killer who spends his weekend staring at people through their shower curtains while humming show tunes. He poked the doll in its plastic belly.
Squeak.
Nothing? Wow, you're about as fun as a vegan steakhouse. Wade turned around to begin mopping a nearby spill. Snunk! A sharp, burning pain erupted in his calf. He looked down. An X-Acto knife was buried in his leg. He spun around to see the doll standing upright, its plastic face twisted into a snarl of pure, ancient malice. Hi, I'm Chucky, the doll rasped, his voice like a meat grinder full of gravel. And I'm gonna play hide the soul in your corpse. Deadpool's eyes widened behind his mask. Oh my God, you're the voodoo guy, Charles Lee Ray? I'm a huge fan. I loved your third movie. Such a daring exploration of the military-industrial complex through the lens of a killer toy. Can I get an autograph? Do you have a pen, or do you just use the blood of the innocent? Chucky hesitated, his tiny plastic brow furrowing. What the hell is wrong with you? Are you brain damaged? Extensively. It's my best quality. Deadpool ripped the knife out of his leg with a wet pop. The wound knitted shut instantly. But seriously, Chuck, Night Watchman? You're a legend. Why are you wasting your time in a retail outlet? Did the royalty checks from the crossovers stop coming? Shut up, Chucky screamed, launching himself into the air like a ginger-haired piranha. The battle turned into a chaotic whirlwind. Chucky was a blur of denim and rage, slashing at Wade's throat. Wade defended himself with a plastic lightsaber, the voom voom sound effects echoing through the store. I have the high ground, Anakin, Wade yelled, whacking Chucky into a pyramid of Tickle Me Elmos. The Elmos began vibrating and giggling in a terrifying synchronized chorus. It tickles, ha ha! I hate those things, Chucky spat, kicking an Elmo's head off. He grabbed a toy crossbow and loaded it with a real steak knife he'd snagged from the break room. He fired. The blade buried itself directly into Deadpool's left eye. Gah! My depth perception! Deadpool stumbled back, knocking over a display of marbles. That was rude. Do you know how hard it is to coordinate colors with an eye patch? I'll look like a pirate who lost a fight with a kitchen drawer. He yanked the knife out. His eye grew back in a wet blink. Chucky's jaw dropped. What the hell are you? I've voodooed people, stabbed people, thrown people off rooftops. Nobody just pulls a knife out of their skull. I'm a walking plot hole with a skincare routine that involves napalm, Deadpool shrugged, pulling his twin Desert Eagles. We're built different. My healing factor makes your voodoo look like a cheap magic trick from a 6-year-old's birthday party.
Chucky realized a direct knife fight was a losing game. He dove into the remote control aisle. Wade stalked after him, guns raised. Come out, wherever you are, Charles. I have a very attractive offer for a soul-swapping podcast.
Suddenly, the floor began to hum. From under the shelves, a fleet of high-speed RC monster trucks roared out, circling Deadpool like sharks. Attached to each one was a sharpened kitchen utensil, forks, steak knives, and even a pizza cutter. "Oh, look at you. You're like a tiny plastic Mad Max," Wade laughed. But his laughter stopped when Chucky jumped onto a large industrial toy forklift. Chucky had rigged the forklift's blades with jagged glass. He drove the machine at full speed, pinning Deadpool against a massive display of Build-A-Bear stuffing. The forklift's blades drove into Wade's chest, pinning him to the wall like a butterfly in a collection. "How's that for a soul swapping?" Chucky cackled, jumping onto Wade's shoulder and preparing to plunge a knife into his throat. "Damballa, give me the power. I'm taking this meat suit for a spin." "Nice try, Chuckles, but you forgot one thing," Wade gasped, blood bubbling at his lips. "What's that?" "I'm very, very heavy." Wade flexed his muscles, and with a roar of maximum effort, he ripped himself forward. The glass blades tore through his torso, but his healing factor was already working overtime to seal the massive gashes. Wade grabbed the forklift and flipped it over with his bare hands, sending Chucky flying into the party supplies section.
"Let's play Operation instead," Chucky yelled, popping up from behind a mountain of confetti. He was holding a container of lighter fluid and a Zippo. Chucky doused a display of highly flammable synthetic plush bears and flicked the lighter. The fire spread with terrifying speed, feeding on the cardboard boxes and plastic wrapping. "Ooh, ambiance," Deadpool retorted, coughing as acrid black smoke filled the air. "A bit aggressive for a first date, don't you think? Most people just start with a drink and some light stalking." They collided in the center of the inferno. The heat was melting the plastic shelves into toxic goo. Chucky was biting and clawing. Deadpool was punching and making "ya mama" jokes. "You can't kill me," Chucky screamed as the ceiling began to sag. "I always come back." "Damballa this!" Deadpool bucked his hips, throwing the doll off. He saw a massive propane tank near the balloon station, used for filling thousands of giggle balloons.
Deadpool grabbed a heavy metal baseball bat and teed off on the propane tank, knocking the valve completely loose. Gas hissed out into the flames with a deafening roar. "You idiot! You'll kill us both!" Chucky yelled, his plastic face beginning to bubble and melt. "I'll live. You'll just need a very good toy repairman and a lot of superglue." Deadpool struck a match he'd found in the break room. "Did I mention I'm also quitting? The health benefits here are terrible, and the manager is a nervous wreck. Maximum effort." He tossed the match. The explosion was a masterpiece of orange fire and shattering glass, blowing the front windows of the store across the street. Moments later, a charred, smoking, but very much intact Deadpool stumbled out of the wreckage. His suit was mostly ash, and he was missing a large chunk of his torso that was rapidly regenerating. He looked back at the burning remains of the Emporium. The Help Wanted sign was currently melting into a puddle of black sludge. "Well," Deadpool addressed the imaginary camera, "job interview went great. I think I made a lasting impression. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm not getting my security deposit back." He picked up a small, charred scrap of a striped sleeve from the sidewalk. "See you in the sequel, Chuckles. Next time, let's try a buddy cop movie. I'll be the loose cannon, and you can be the tiny psychotic partner with a Napoleon complex." He tossed the scrap over his shoulder and limped off into the night, wondering if Mr. Schultz would let him sleep in the hallway if he promised to use his majestic white hair as a blanket.